Chapter 10. We got the box open and found 4 bottles of whiskey. In all my boarding days, I never seen such a big box carrying 4 little things, said Harry Boy. And I know why. Let me say it again. I know why, answered Slasher. Do you? So go on, tell us, I shot back, folding my arms. Slasher shoved his hands into his pockets and walked around us. He lit his pipe, took my hat and placed it on the side of his head. He wasn't aware of it, but he was in great danger of getting a good smack in the jaw. I'm, as you might have already guessed, a very intelligent man. You're not a man, said Harry Boy. I am, you're not. I am, not, am. Okay, get on with it. Tell us what you know about the drink, I shouted. He waved his hand with great passion, so that he had us hanging on to his next word. Well, so they don't break. I looked at Harry Boy. He scratched his head and answered, Yeah, now that you say it, he is intelligent, Slasher. I'd have never thought of that. Silence. If you're going to be an idiot, then now I know you're an idiot. Remember, the worst class of idiots to be a melancholy idiot, so don't be one of them. I understand exactly what you mean, Ma. Believe me, I got it, I muttered. We stood facing each other. I eyed them. They eyed me. Right. Need to get rid of the whiskey, I said. Yeah, and I know just a man, Slasher answered. Mr. Golden. So where is this Mr. Golden, if you please, snapped Harry Boy. Down the docks. Right, let's go, I replied, taking my hat back. On the way to the docks, Harry Boy and me heard about Whacker. Slasher talked about nothing else. Whacker is your only man. Whacker is the most respected fella in Dublin. Whacker knows how to get things done. Whacker knows Tommy Two Coats. Who's Tommy Two Coats? Asked Harry Boy. He's your only man. Me dad rambles on about him, I cut in. So what is you saying? Your dad knows Tommy Two Coats? Asked Slasher. One thing was clear. Slasher had a way of straightening any confusion by talking in circles so much that the confusion looked like a simpler path. Did I say that, Harry Boy? Did I say me dad knows Tommy Two Coats? Did I, Harry Boy? Nah, he never said that, Slasher. All he said, I know what he said. So let's not be running away with tall yarns. Right, back to Whacker. I looked at Harry Boy. He wasn't bored or any of the wires I've overheard in Slasher's rambling. I threw my eyes heavenward. We strolled on. Listened to Slasher rabbit on, so I muttered, Whacker me arse. What? What'd you say? Asked Slasher with a venomous glare. I said, I've a pain in my arse, are we nearly there? We turned every corner and into the lanes, following Slasher as he picked up speed. I kept my eyes on him. With a quick flash of his eyes, Slasher spotted a copper in the corner. Ooh, I saw fear. It jumped from his face, and I knew he wasn't on good speaking terms with them. From then on, we moved deeper into the alleys. We walked faster and did not stop for a breath until, stretching his arms out, he stopped us in our tracks. Look it! It's Daisy May. That's Daisy May. Slasher stood speechless. So did Harry Boy and me. It was like we were in a drowsy state. The only mental engagement afforded us was the woman in front. The busy streets ran away from us boys. How are you, Daisy? He called. Ah, there you are, Slasher, she replied. She crossed the crowded street. Her eyes followed her every move. The woman was about 5'5", dressed in a long black coat and high-heeled shoes. The open coat blew in the wind. Underneath were laced-up garters and a shockingly short skirt. Her legs were long, her calves strong. She looked like someone in costume, like a film star. She laughed and continued, "Ha ha, out doing a bit of work, Slasher." She danced and put me in mind of Rita Hayworth in the dance sequence in Spencer Tracy's film, Dante Inferno. Daisy gave me a look, then a wink and tottered on to the far street. Every man greeted her with their eyes, flashing glances, telling tales of hidden desires. The apprentice, the baker, the suited gambler with a toothpick in his mouth, and the three understudies of the underworld all watched her disappear under the dimming lights. Slasher's talk turned to Daisy May. He told us she had a mouth of a bookseller, the mouth of a reader. She has learning, mighty piles of learning. Her brain is swelled up with learning. His face froze, and rich kids walking with their ma. They were giggling at us. But on he went, yapping about Daisy May. She's a shocking, holy, Roman Catholic woman. Placing his hands on his lips, he whispered, she wrapped many a body in carpet during the troubles, said prayers, shocking holy prayers after gutting them like a fish. Shocking holy, nothing surer. Wagger got lost in his talk. Daisy May had stolen his full attention. When talking about her, he broke it down in points. Point number 1, there was no one like her. Point number 2, she'd been transported here to rid Dublin of dirty, evil men. Point number 3, she had the secrets of the river. What do you mean, the secrets of the river, I asked. Yeah, tell us, Slasher. What secrets? Asked Harry Boy, tipping the side of his nose 4 times. Tap, 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 tap. He shoved his finger into his nostril, wheeled it around, flicking something he found away. Men, evil men, carrying joyous cares and wicked intent. Men who were tormented in their minds. There has been many a yarn, some say fables, of how she took hold of that passion, held fast them to her bosom. See, the river is a notion of secrets. He winked twice. She must have brains to burn, yapped Harry Boy. I wanted to put me finger on me lips and make this sound blah 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 blah. Instead, I cut across saying, me ma has good lot of learning, writes things down, letters and stuff to me grandad in New York. She writes stories galore in a book. She says it's all about me, her, me dad, how they met. Hey, look at her, a nice mammy, Slasher said, pointing across the street. What a clatter I gave him. It was so forceful. My hand hurt. This time he pulled out his blade. Harry moved swiftly and whipped his legs from under him. And me ma shouted, hey, give it over, give it over. She jumped between us. Harry Boy ran off. Slasher gnashed his teeth, flung back his hair and picked up his blade. A proper pair of bounty boys. Now Frankie, you run along, Frankie, Ma said, fixing her gaze on Slasher and the blade. I ran. An understanding was coming, and for the first time I could see that Ma couldn't free herself from Dad's influence. Or maybe a correct way of putting it was, she didn't know how, but I saw how other men wooed her attention and wondered why Dad didn't. As time went on, the woman who called to get out of New York was now crying to get back, moaning over me as I lay on a straw bed, telling me more stories of 5-point gangsters, boys who grew up to be as tall as trees, and who could swim in rivers like fish, great guardians and protectors of the waterfront that she said stared over at Ireland, searching for the ghosts that never made her off the coffin ships. Youngsters who became men like Legs Diamond, Machine Gun Kelly and John L. Sullivan. She had cravings for Legs Diamond because she never shut up about him. Dad would say, Legs Diamond me arse, sure I knew him backwards. Me dad knew everything backwards. He knew it so well it stopped him going forwards. Like an expert me dad was when it came to knowing things backwards. Dad came home drunk, full of cuts and scrapes, ragged and angry, cursing the day he met Ma, cursing the day I was born and cursing the air he breathed. Taking a smoke from his pocket, he lit it, blowing long puffs into the air. When the cigarette was finished, he stubbed it out, using the floor as an ashtray. Then there were the books. He had books on his bed, under it, beside it, but never in the fire. He read me this and forced me to read that. There was a never-ending line of them. I'm not kidding you. At 10 years of age, I'd memorised Ulysses. My night reading was A Portrait of a Young Artist, A Young Man by James Joyce. In the last September, it was a novel about life in a mansion in Cork during the War of Independence. Me dad a thing about the War of Independence. Me ma a thing about Cork. Me dad loved reading because it gave him easy time in jail. I suspected that what he was doing was preparing me for an easy time in jail. Laughing, he fell on his knees, telling me yarns, great Irish yarns. However, when he told me yarns, they were always his version. In one of his famous accounts, he told me it was Cuchulainn na Fionn who stuck his fingers into the fish and got a great head of wisdom. Sure, in all my lifelong days, I never saw the full fish on our table or sitting in a pot. I never got a chance to stick my finger into one, so I could get this great head of wisdom. All I ever saw was fish heads and pig heads and feet, tons of feet, and every one of them belonged to a pig, not the same one, mind. Then there was cabbage that smelt like crap and tasted like grass, which my dad in one of his enlightened moments said, "It's great for you, full of iron." Iron, says he, not a toot in his mouth, not a blade in his head, knees like tennis balls, and there he is telling me about iron. Oh boy, got chewing on a meatless pig's foot and him sucking on an eyeball, and me ma on her knees, crying into the night, holding rosary beads the size of a chain and calling on all the shocking holy saints.